Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you've watched my last couple of videos, you know, like, things aren't changing in the background, but I was so excited. I had so much to tell you guys that I just kept filming and I can't stop. So I'm doing my fall haul book bundle and unit study bundle. I had told you in my previous video about slowing down with our gather around unit study, not because we didn't enjoy it, but because we found a lot of things that we wanted to really focus on this fall. And I have a lot of really fun things to show you guys. I hope that you just get so much inspiration from this video, because I honestly have enjoyed finding things to do with my kids that I felt like I just couldn't wait to tell my friends about. So let's get started. So the first one I'm going to tell you about is a unit study, and if you saw my previous video as well, you know that I have become a little bit addicted to Stephanie Hathaway designs on Etsy, and it's a beautiful mama who has made these little mini unit studies that you can do with toddlers all the way up to elementary age, school age children, and they are beautiful. They are so pretty, you guys. I honestly am going to print some of these images on cardstock and just frame them for my house. So I wanted to tell you that up front because I have really enjoyed just looking at these. I sometimes at night when the kids go to bed just sit and look at them because they're so pretty. But the first one I got, and you'll tell I upcycled my folder for this one. It says History 1 from a previous curriculum we used. But this is the Pumpkin Life Cycle. And it is so pretty, you guys. So these are all Montessori inspired printables and activity guides. And like I said, it's from Stephanie Hathaway Designs on Etsy. Her stuff is very affordable. If you're just looking for things to, like, maybe you didn't buy a big curriculum this year, you didn't want to spend hundreds of dollars, but you want to find a way to add creative things into your homeschool, this is the perfect way to do it. Get your math, maybe get a little bit of language arts, and then add the fun stuff and just build on this. If they like something specific out of a unit, just keep researching it. It's phenomenal what you can do with little mini unit studies. But this tells you about the things that come with the unit study. You just print it off. And I'm going to show you all the things that come with it. But there are poems in here to read and talk about, different book recommendations, recipe, like it just says, if you wish, use the pumpkin flesh in one of your favorite pumpkin recipes. And then I'm going to have them dissect a pumpkin. We'll actually be going tomorrow to a pumpkin patch to get the kids their own little pumpkin, and then we'll be getting an extra pumpkin to dissect for this. So we're really excited about that. But you guys, she just does such a good job. So there are parts of a pumpkin right here, and there's a sheet in here that I've laminated. I'll show it to you, but you fill it out based on that. And then it talks about using her 3-part cards, which I will show you that in just a minute as well. But there's copy work, the picture of the pumpkin, you copy it for those littles that you have that are still working on their letters. And then you have observations here for when you dissect your pumpkin. So that's really fun for science. And then there are different quotes from people. I would rather sit on a pumpkin and have it all to myself than be crowded on a velvet cushion. David Thoreau. So there are different things like that, and then there's little activities that you can do to cut out to play with. And then you label them. So this is just the pieces of paper that I saved and put in sheet protectors so that in the future I can just make copies of it without having to find it years from now when I'm doing it with my babies that I have now when they're old enough. So that's what I decided to do when I bought her unit studies, was put them in sheet protectors and laminate different pieces. But I wanted to show you what else is in this. So these are the little math cards. If you've got kids that are working on their numbers and things like that, you count the pumpkins and you find which number adds up to the correct amount of pumpkins, and then you put a little clothespin on it. So these are going to be great for my 6-year-old and even maybe my 2-year-old, depending on how many pumpkins there are on these. There are some with 1, 2, and 3 pumpkins, and then they go up to all the way like 15 or 20 pumpkins. This is the parts of a pumpkin that I was telling you about. So I took this card. It's already lined when you print it out. So I just cut it out and laminated it. And it tells you the different parts of the pumpkin so that on the worksheet the kids can label it and color it. And then you have the life cycle of a pumpkin. So I'll be, you know, just posting these things up in different areas of the house so that the kids can look at it, learn the vocabulary and things like that, and make it fun. But one thing that I've really enjoyed with these is the fact that she adds different paintings and tells you who did it and the year, what style it is, and history about that artist. So I've always had a hard time incorporating art history into school, and while I do love art, I don't feel like I'm very educated on it, but I do feel like this is a really fun way to incorporate it. So this is Still Life with 2 Jars and 2 Pumpkins by Vincent van Gogh. And then I also have one by Theodule Ribaud. Please let me know if I said that wrong. Still Life with Pumpkin, Plums, and Cherries. So I just love how creative she's been with this. Oh, this is another one, Paw Peel, the pumpkin patch. And like I said, I'm just going to be hanging them up in a cute little way with some string and clothespins, or even just putting them on our fridge and we'll just pull them off when we're eating lunch or dinner and talk about them. I love this book. It's How Big Could Your Pumpkin Grow? And we had the best time, my daughter and I haven't read it to my son and my baby yet, but we had the best time, my daughter and I, at bedtime one night reading this book. And the cool thing is it talks about all the fun ways that people have used pumpkins. And then it has you use your imagination to say, well, what if you saw a pumpkin like this? And things like that. We were recently at Dollywood. If you guys are near Tennessee or West North Carolina, it's pretty close to us. And they had the biggest pumpkins out in the very front as soon as you walk into the park. And there was a 1,500-pound pumpkin. So we walked around and had my son say all of the weights of the pumpkins, because it might have been, you know, 1,243 pounds, 1,506 pounds, things like that, and had him say all of them. And my kids were just astounded that people could grow a pumpkin that big. But we're gonna see if our pumpkin can float when we get one. And then in the back, because we'll be soon focusing on U.S. history, and we're going to be learning our states and capitals and things like that. In the back, this is, it says giant pumpkins could be anywhere. And then it tells you in Connecticut, Wisconsin, Vermont, Minnesota, New Mexico, North Carolina, New York. All these different places where they have festivals for pumpkins, or they grow pumpkins to be, you know, such and such weight, or history about that area with pumpkins. So I really have enjoyed this book. I'm excited to keep using it for our unit study. Another one that my 2-year-old especially loved, I've read it to her now 3 times since we got it, was Pick a Pumpkin. And I'll be sharing it in my December unit study video. But I also got Pick a Pine Tree. So this is a set and it's so pretty and so cute, you guys. But my 2-year-old Maggie loved this book and I read it 2 or 3 times. But it's Pick a Pumpkin, and it just talks about carving it, and it's it rhymes in this book. So if you're talking about poetry or things like that, this would be a great book to read to your kids. But it was a really sweet book. It's really cute. My baby had a really fun time finding the cat on each page. So it's pretty obvious where they are, but to a 2-year-old, it was really fun to know that the cat was going to be on the next page and you had to find it. So I would highly recommend this book, even if it's just for fun. It was a really cute book. The other book I got for fall was Thanksgiving in the Woods. And I haven't read this one yet, but it just looked so pretty that I couldn't not buy it, to be honest with you. So I'll have to let you know, maybe on Instagram, what I think of it. But it just looked really pretty, and it talked about, from what I've gathered, just like glancing at it, just coming together as a community and family and friends for Thanksgiving, which I love showing my kids that, because we always do Thanksgiving with my family and Paul's family, but we also try to do Friendsgiving and just incorporate that community of love, you know, around each other. The last book I got is not specifically for fall. It can work all year round. And it was so funny. I had just recently read The Call of the Wild and Free by Ainsley Arment. And I will link her book down below. But if you are struggling with just your thought processes of homeschool and just forcing yourself to think that you have to be so far ahead or anything like that, putting stress on yourself as a mama, please read that book. Please read that book. I got it on Audible. I listened to it over a period of like 2 weeks. And I'm actually re-listening to it because it just, I'm not even kidding you, it just soothed my soul. It soothed my soul. It was so good for me to hear these things and to hear the recommendations that she had, but it wasn't, you should be doing this. It was just giving you freedom in your homeschool walk with your family, with your children, and giving you that ability to know that you're their mom and you know better. And if you feel like you're stressing them out and it's not the right path, that it's okay to not be doing it that way. But I had recently joined, after I read that book, the Wild and Free community. And you get different little bundles for each month of things that you might want to focus on as a unit, or projects to do, crafts to do, things to just incorporate in your homeschool to make it fun, relaxed, enjoy nature, things like that. But in one of the pictures, I saw this book and it intrigued me. And it's called A Year Full of Stories, 52 Folktales and Legends from Around the World. And it looked so pretty. So, and all these books I got on Amazon, and I will link them down below. But the really cool thing about this book is that it goes for each month. So there are different things for each month and each season. And while I don't try to focus on superstition or anything like that, I do want my kids to understand different cultures and what they might have believed, or stories passed down, you know, through time, things like that. But it tells you just, you know, this story is from June and midsummer. But then there's also some for, like, one is for World Music Day, and it's on June 21st. So for the fall and Christmas, I've already kind of mapped it out, but there are different days of the months during this time in fall that I focused on just to read these things during that time. So October 16th is World Food Day, and it says Why Bananas Belong to the Monkey. So that's going to be a fun read on October 16th. And then just in October, Diwali is celebrated. So we'll read about Diwali and things like that. October 31st is Halloween, and there are a couple little stories about that. And then November, around the time of Thanksgiving, it's How the Pine Tree Chief Got His Name. So this book is beautiful just as like something to set on your coffee table. That's really what I've been doing with it, but I have so enjoyed having it already. And reading about autumn for September and things like that, and then moving on into November and December, we'll actually focus specifically on those stories, on those dates and in that time period, so that we can read different traditions, legends, folktales, and things like that for those days or like times in the year. So this is the other thing that I'll be incorporating for our fall unit. But I'm just so very excited to do this. I have really enjoyed all the different books that we've gotten lately. If you watched my video about my life update, you know things got a little crazy. And while I'm not somebody who shops as a stress relief, I will tell you I have focused heavily on books that I want to incorporate in our kids' library. So I might have went a little crazy doing that. But it benefits you guys because you're getting to see different ideas for things that you might want to incorporate. So I would highly recommend this book, though. It is so pretty just to sit out, and I've enjoyed even just looking at it and reading the stories on my own in my downtime. But it is just a super exciting thing to learn about all the different legends and folktales around the world. I just really enjoy things like that. The last thing for this video that I wanted to show you guys is also another Stephanie Hathaway Designs unit study. I'm not affiliated with her in any way at all. I just really love her stuff. And we have learned so much from it and enjoyed it that I just keep finding them. And then when my kids ask about something, I go and just see if she has a unit on it. Because I've just enjoyed them so much. But the last one that we're going to do, I probably will start this around Halloween and then go through it in November, because it'll be so small, but it's something we could do every day, is the phases of the moon. It's so pretty, you guys. I have enjoyed this. I even learned that the moon had a name, and I'm sorry if you all knew that. I did not. The moon's name is Luna, by the way. But there are really fun things to do this. So yeah, Earth's only moon is named Luna. I just think that is so cool. And then it tells you little facts about the moon. Her name is Luna. And then the different, I'm blanking, I'm sorry, phases. And these are the different phases of the moon. So there are really pretty pictures that you can throw up on your walls and things like that if you want to trade them out in your school area while you do these. But we're going to be learning the different phases of the moon. There's a really fun little activity in here where you get the Oreos, break apart the top of the cookie, and then use the cream to show the different phases of the moon. So there's a sheet in here that tells you like Oreo phases of the moon. And we'll be doing that. But the fun thing was, like I said previously, when we went to Dollywood, that night that we went actually happened to be a full moon, and it was huge. It was so big. The kids were like, what is going on with the moon? It's so big and orange. It was so orange. And we looked it up, and it was the harvest moon. So my kids were asking about that and things like that. So I immediately thought of this because I had seen it on her site. And I looked on the almanac, the farmersalmanac.com. I really love that website now. But I learned that the next full moon in this month of October is on October 31st. And it is the blue moon. So what I'm going to be doing is, because we've got a few things that we're focusing on right now just with fall, with it being October, I'm probably going to start this like on that Saturday, you know, just briefly. I'm not going to make a huge thing of it, but I want to throw up the full moon and teach them about what the blue moon means and things like that. But then also over the period of the cycle and the month and things like that, we'll be using the 3-part cards and the activity sheets and things like that to learn about the phases of the moon and what they do to the earth, things like that. So I'm really excited about this. I think it's going to be really fun. There are also observation sheets in this study, and the observation journal part, which I thought was really cool. I don't think I had seen that in other unit studies that she has. But I think my son's really going to enjoy this one, especially if it's coming with the fact that he's going to get to eat cookies because he has a sweet tooth. But I didn't remember to laminate these. I must have not pulled them out. But I'm going to be laminating these and putting them up. And like I said, it's Vincent van Gogh's artwork for this. And so like I said before, it's adding art and art history to your homeschool in such an easy way that you just can't not do it at that point. But this is what we will be doing from about Halloween through November with our other unit study. And I'm just really excited to incorporate this because like I said, her stuff is so beautiful and so affordable. It's crazy. So I would highly recommend her stuff. But that is my fall book haul and unit study things that I'm incorporating this year, or this month, excuse me. And I'm just really excited to do it. I have slowed down on my unit study from Gather Round just to really enjoy this time with my family. As crazy as it's been in our lives right now, I think God has just really shown me that this is the time, even in the midst of chaos and things like that and craziness, that there is still so much joy to be seen in the world and in your lives, that I just couldn't pass this time up to do really fun things with my kids and to read them sweet books and just play off that when they ask a question. I would highly recommend, and I will link it down below, the Almanac website. I learned so much about that. If you have a garden or you don't know where to start each month, there is literally a month by month list of things that you can be doing for your garden or things that you can be planting. And if we weren't moving, I would be utilizing that right now. So I'm really excited to get into our new home and start just utilizing all the things that I've seen on that site for our garden next year and things like that. But that is it for this video, you guys. I hope that you got some inspiration from it or encouragement to just follow the whims that your kids have or you have. It has been such a blessing to be able to do that. And the thing about homeschool is, like, we have that freedom and ability to do it, to just follow what is actually causing curiosity in our kids and to learn and to just grow from that. And then we incorporate math with those things, or art history, or anything really. Write sentences about it, free write about it, things like that. I've just learned so much in the last few weeks of not having that time to sit down and focus on curriculum, that we've incorporated school in so many ways that I'm honestly blown away when I look at my planner and I retroactively plan at that point and say, well, we did this and we did this today and we did this, and it's just crazy, like all the things that you actually accomplish when you're doing it just when your kids ask. And my whole goal at this point, even though I've got Gather Round, their whole curriculum for year 2, I will totally be using that. I just really want to follow the curiosity of my kids. I have really been convicted to do that because I'm homeschooling them for a reason. God put me in this place for a reason, and I want to just see them blossom and just grow and love school because they love it, not because they had to do it. So that is all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. Bye.